Welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Lives. And this is one of my Thursday Thoughts episode, but I didn't pull a card to give me this thought. It's a thought that I've been wanting to share on the podcast since I've really been focusing on helping people with this. And I'm reading a book right now, and I might have mentioned it on a previous episode, but it's made such a difference in my life, just given me so much new perspective in the way it presents things. And it does a touch in quantum physics, which, since I'm not a science person, it was really dumbed down in a way I could understand it. And I hear people talking about quantum physics and laws of the universe and how that's all kind of like part of science. It's really science and quantum physics. Like, human beings are made up of atoms, and the way it explains it and how we're like a tree, but we're a little bit smarter. It was just really, really a great way that I could understand and digest the information. So I love the book. It's been recommended to me by more than a couple of years, and I have not picked it up. I know I always am picking up other books, and I think it's because of the title seems so silly. A Happy Pocket Full of Money. It seems like a little, like, I don't know. It seems like Who Stole My Cheese kind of book. And so it's so much more. It's the best book I think I've ever read in my life. But it also validates a lot of what I believe. And there is a chapter on purpose. And I have made it my mission to help people find their purpose, because I believe that you came here for a reason, and it's your job to find out what that reason is. And some people say we have multiple purposes, which I can kind of agree with. I mean, I feel like I was meant to be a mom of my two girls, and I came here to do that, but that's done now. One of the reasons I like to help empty nesters find their way after the nest empties is because I feel like there's a latent life purpose. And some people find purpose earlier in their lives, and they start doing it and they do it their whole lives. I mean, they have a gift. They're born with a gift, some kind of talent. And of course, that's what their life becomes. But many of us get sidetracked in the game of life. And we focus so much, I think particularly women and moms focus so much on our families and raising, growing, and launching good human beings. That's a big responsibility. And to do that successfully is really hard. And so we put all of our energy and our mind into it. And then we get caught up in the rat race. And many of us have to make money and get a job because, we're married, and it's a two income kind of world we live in. And or at least that's what we've been conditioned to think, right? Used to not be that way, but now it is. So you get to this midlife and your kids leave, and it's like, well, I thought that was my purpose. But no, there's something more. There's something more for you. That part of your life, that purpose was just one, and now it's something else, and it's something deeper, and it's beyond you, and it's inside of you, but it's bigger than you. And so many of us feel like, our purpose is external. And in a way, that's what kind of kids are, is like, they're kind of like your purpose, but then they leave. So that's what I mean by external to you. And then there's this internal knowing, needing, wanting more. And I was guilty of suppressing it. And I think I'm like a lot of women, that we just suppress it. Oh, no, that's just, I can't be happy with what I have. So something must be wrong with me. But there's a chapter in this book, and the title of the chapter is called Purpose. Why are you here? And it's really a simple chapter. It's only like 5 pages, but it's so profound. And I wanted to read a couple quotes from you, and I wanted to share my perspective from it. I just finished a workshop, and the workshop's titled 5 Secret Steps to Finding Passion, Purpose, and Profit After the Empty Nest. And that's just kind of like a fancy little title, that I thought people want that, right? They want more passion, they want more purpose, and they would love to make money doing it, right? And I found 5 steps that have led me there. But the most important word in that title is purpose, because I feel if you have purpose, the middle word, then you have passion, and then you can have profit. So purpose is the number one thing that you need to have. And without purpose, passion is short-lived. It's not sustainable. And profit, you can make money, but if it's not within your purpose of doing so, then again, it's going to be money that you're just making. You're going to get in the rat race and be miserable like I was. So that's just a little bit of background, because it's really front center of my mind, because I've been working with these women in this training that I've been doing, and purpose is a fundamental part of it. And that's what I teach in my second half Spark School. So I thought this deserves an episode. I need to talk about it. So one of the things I want to start with in terms of a quote from this chapter is, purpose or destiny is what you, yourself, or soul choose to come to do here on earth. A choice based on your soul's attributes and wishes. And the circumstances and location you are born in are perfect for you to collect the necessary tools to fulfill your chosen purpose, were you to go through life with such an awareness. That is why your unique purpose feels so good once you find it. That is why it gives you so much joy doing it, because you chose it a long time ago. It is what you came here to do. And that is what it is all about. And I wrote next to this, because I have a lot of highlighted, it's like I feel like I'm back in my school with my highlighter. And I do these little stars where it's like really important. And this one, I even wrote in it, I said, aha, yes, exclamation point. Because I believe that to be true. And I believed that to be true before I read this book. But to read a book and have somebody who's smarter than me, who knows about quantum physics, and that it's science, there's science behind this. And that's what my soul came here to do. And I friggin' didn't have a clue until I got to be like, finally started getting warmer and warmer when I was in my late 50s. So like, that's what they say, right? Is so many people, the author of this book says that most people never find their purpose. You come here to live your purpose. You come here for a reason. That's what you come here for. Yet you live your entire life and you don't find it, because we get caught up in societal norms and expectations and labels. And that's what happens. And that's what I am so guilty of having done that. And I took notes about this because it was, to me, so powerful. But we are taught by society and the label structure in society. Like, think of it. Like, how many parents would love, and do love when their child becomes a lawyer, or when their child becomes a doctor, or in my case, a vice president. And that was, even I was blinded by that light, but that didn't last very long. I mean, a month after I got the promotion, I was like, I'm so unhappy. So, but that's what happens, is people buy into labels over true happiness. It's like, it's not real. It's not real, true, deep happiness. It's this surface level happiness. It's like a BMW or Mercedes level. Cars do not sustain you in a deep, fulfilling way. Maybe when you sit in them and they have the new car smell, but when they get their first ding, then there goes. It's like, if it's not within inside of you, and it's not something that's fulfilling you, and it's just a label and a car and a material thing, that's what happens to us. It's like society has done this to us. Society has taken us away. It's like these shiny objects that attract us, and it's taken us away from the core of our being, and what we came here for. It's the ego soul thing, right? The ego is the logic brain and the soul is the heart. And we suppress the heart, and that's my big thing is I was a big heart suppressor and made some choices in my life which as I got older I realized were the wrong choices because they led me further away from my soul's purpose. So that was number one big takeaway is that most people, so I wasn't an unusual person, and if you haven't found your purpose yet, then you're you're not unusual either. But what's important about this is you have one, and if you're not feeling happy, then it's because you're not living from your purpose. So the other thing that I really got from this was that your purpose gives you joy and satisfaction. And I knew that because I feel that now that I found it. But a lot of people don't want to take that risk. So in other words, so you'd rather be unhappy and stay where you are and not live your purpose than find this joy and satisfaction. But that's because there's fear associated with change. And so I get that. But I just want to reinforce to you that it cannot be something that does not give you joy and satisfaction. If you're not feeling joy and satisfaction, you're without purpose. So that is what society has also done is given us these temporary feel good fixes. I remember when I went and I wanted to do something different than I did and my mom was always she said, "No, you won't make money doing that." It was always about you have to make more money, not you have to do what makes you happy. I think my mother would have wanted me to be happy, but she thought more money would make me happy. But that's the societal thing. Again, if you're making a lot of money and you're not feeling joy and satisfaction from the work you're doing, then you're doing the wrong work. That's the point. You're doing the wrong work. So so people number 1 don't fulfill their purpose because society has made these labels so attractive. And the other thing is that we think the money will make us happy and the material things will make us happy. But when in fact, that's not true. And then what else happens is that people set goals. And this is one of the things I say is because I have this quiz and you can take the quiz and find out what your role is. I've talked about it on a previous episode. But there's one of the roles is like this organized planner and they set goals and they're really good about setting goals. But the problem is if you don't have a purpose, your goals don't mean anything. First of all, you won't have satisfaction reaching them. And secondly, you will probably fall off the wagon of achieving the goals because again, they're not tied to purpose. And so what I also found in this chapter, this very, very short chapter, is it says that you find your purpose first and then you set goals around it. And that's what I do with my students in the Spark School is we come up with heart-centered goals and find, what lights us up, what lights us up. And when you find what lights you up, that uncovers what your purpose is. And then you can go about setting really concrete goals around that which lights you up, that purpose that you've uncovered. But it also says that once you set goals around your purpose, the goals will move you toward your purpose to a point where it's your career and your happiness increases, your success increases, and your self-satisfaction increases, which is in a way what happiness is, right? Self-satisfaction. Um, but again, it's this inner self, this inner knowing being of satisfaction. So I love that perspective because it's like so many people try to set goals and then the goals aren't carried through or aren't exciting enough because they're not tied to a deeper purpose. And you get them and they might make your parents proud or your kids proud or your husband proud or your teacher proud, your mentor proud, but if they're not tied to a purpose, then it's not going to be a sustaining happiness. It's going to be a temporary feel good fix and you're just going to be left feeling unfulfilled again. Oh, the other thing too is optimal, you what will happen as a result of living your purpose, and that's why souls have a purpose before they come here, because when you come here as a human, you're supposed to do good in the world, and you're supposed to make a difference. I mean, everybody's supposed to contribute in their own way, some very much in a large way and some in a smaller way, but your impact makes the world a better place. And so when you live from purpose and you have goals that are around your purpose, and you become happier and you become more successful, imagine what that does for the world when you walk around happy and fulfilled and you emanate that from yourself. So the other thing is that another quote that I really liked: when you align your thoughts fearlessly to your life's purpose, you become a powerful creative force. And that was another thing that I always felt, that I wasn't creative. So if you're feeling uncreative and you are saying to yourself, I'm not a creative person, then I bet my Bippy or your Bippy, somebody's Bippy, I bet that you are not living from purpose. Because when you start to live from purpose, I have become the most, my ideas are like, I can't even stop them. I have to have like some kind of control. It's like I need a dam of idea control in my head, because they're flowing out so much. But I didn't have any creative juices because I was so stuck in this busy doing world, living from labels, living from, materialistic things, living from things that didn't really make me happy in the long run. They just kept me going. And it's so hard to describe until you are in a state of feeling so fulfilled. And when you're unfulfilled, when you're unfulfilled and you don't have a purpose, there's a knowing that something's not right. There's a knowing that that you wish there was more, that you wish that you had a deeper impact in the world. There's just a knowing something's missing. And it might not even be a realization that you want to make a bigger impact yet, but it's just a knowing that something's off and you should be happier. I think that's the root of it. And so finding your purpose, if you know that's what you came here for, if you know from a scientific standpoint that you had a purpose and you came here and that the circumstances that you live by were set up to make you successful in finding your purpose, then wouldn't that make you really want to do it and like make it a priority to do that? And that's why I wanted to have this episode, because I wanted to get you thinking about, are you living from purpose? And if not, are you just going to throw your hands up in the air and say, not in this lifetime, next lifetime? Because there's a lot of life left to figure it out. And I believe that once you find your purpose, it gives you more to live for. And who doesn't want to live from that place of more success, more happiness, more fulfillment, more impact? I would think people would want to live from that place if they know it's there. And the other thing about, and I do love how it talks about circumstance, because a lot of people say, like, well, if I had different circumstances, I would be able to find it, or other people have it better, so it's easier for them. We tend to fall into that pattern sometimes of negative talk that isn't helpful for us. But if you know that your circumstances are probably part of your purpose, and I love that, because I always say that, and there's a saying too, it's like, make your messes your message. Have you ever heard of that? So it's like those circumstances that you've faced, those obstacles that you've overcome, think about how that was the training grounds for what is truly your purpose, or what will become your purpose. And now that I've found what fulfills me and how I feel I am making a deeper impact, I realize now that I couldn't have found it earlier because I couldn't be helping who I'm helping, and I couldn't be teaching what I'm teaching if I found it earlier. So, yeah, my circumstances and the struggles that I had finding my way to purpose have become my purpose. Isn't that kind of crazy? Isn't that it's just kind of mind blowing to me? But I want to prompt thought, and I want everyone to give their purpose a chance, because I don't want you getting to the end of your life and thinking, what if? Why didn't I? What was I supposed to do? And then have to do it all over again. Do it now. Don't wait, because your soul is dying inside to be lit up. And that will just make the world a much better place. So, hope you liked this little episode on the short chapter in this amazing book I'm reading. And I will recommend it to everybody. A Happy Pocket Full of Money. It is definitely worth it. On Amazon. All right. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into the Not Your Average Lives podcast. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe on iTunes if you have an Apple device. You can find free resources and learn what else I have going on at the moment that might interest you on my website at notyouraveragegrandma.com. You can also find me on Instagram or Facebook at Not Your Average Grandma. If you liked this episode, it would make my heart so happy if you could leave me a 5-star rating. You can also add a review to let me know what you like about this podcast, which will help spread the word about it to others who need a little midlife inspiration. As always, be you, listen to your inner voice, and focus on reigniting that lost spark so you can start living your own Not Your Average life.